I had to turn off my heater.
Here we go. Okay. I think we are good to go. Okay. Okay. We are live. Hello, Decluttering Club. How are you all? Sarah Mueller here. We have a special treat for you today. I am so excited to share this video with you all. So nice to have you all. Drop a little emoji in the comments if you get a chance, if you are here with us live. But I'm here with my friend April from Stunning Style. April, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be back.
Oh, this is going to be so amazing. Okay, so we are going to talk today about how to dress for your body type. And I love this topic because I have really struggled with getting dressed and like feeling good in my clothing and finding things that I really want to wear. And I want to do that. So I love that you're going to share some ideas with us today.
Yes.
So can you just give us like a little background, like why, why is this important to you? Why is this your passion? Like, how did this all come about?
Well, as women in particular, there is so much body shame out there. It comes from the media. It comes from well-intentioned family members and friends. We have been trained to hate our bodies. And it's really unfair. We've been lied to by the media saying there's only one good body type, and it's honestly a lie. It's photoshopped. The models that they're portraying as these paragons of perfection don't even look like that. And the truth is, not style clothing is very body shape dependent. What looks good on one body shape will not look right on another body shape because it wasn't meant for it. And just like all women, I grew up with these shaming messages and hide this, cover that. And I have 3 daughters and I don't want them to grow up with the same messages. I want them to know that their bodies are perfect just as they are because they belong to them. That's the only thing it needs to be, is yours to be perfect. And I don't want them to grow up comparing themselves to each other, to their friends, to me, to people they see on social media or on TV or the internet. I want them to understand that everybody is beautiful. And as I researched how to dress for my own body shape, because how you dress can really make you look and feel your best. And that changes everything about how you feel. Everything I found was very shaming. I'm going to teach you how to cover those thighs and cover your butt. And what's wrong? Like, we're going to disguise your this. And it's so negative.
Oh, it feels so gross, doesn't it? It's now there's something wrong with me. And, now I just want to,
It's the messaging that's out there and we've just been raised with it. And it's so hurtful. And we're expected to live up to something. You cannot change your body type. You're born with it. It's your DNA. And you cannot diet and exercise it away. You cannot punish and hate it, your body, and make it change. And if you can just learn to love and dress the body you have today, it's so freeing and you feel so much better and you can look your best, but accepting it is the first step.
Oh, that's so good, right? I mean, so when you say body type, you're not talking about how much you weigh or like what size you are. That's not what you're talking about, right?
It's the general shape of your body. And there are 5 body shapes. I mean, there are like variations of each body shape. You can really get ultra specific, but overall there are 5 general body shapes: pear, rectangle, inverted triangle, apple, and hourglass.
Okay. Okay. So before we get into that, and this is so good. Are you guys loving this? I saw this, I think it was on Instagram. I saw this little clip yesterday, and it was about how teenage girls are like saying these things to each other because they have been hearing all these messages like, oh, I can't eat that, or, like, oh, that has too many calories, and yes, we want them to eat healthy, but that doesn't mean that we want them to be counting calories when they're 13 years old. Like, it's just so wrong. And it just makes me feel awful. So I love that you're covering this topic for teens, but also for those of us who are long past our teenage years, right?
Every woman and young girl, unfortunately, needs to hear this, because those messages are everywhere. And once you start to recognize them, you see how pervasive they are in our culture. It's everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Okay, so there's 5 body types, right? And it's not the size, it's not how much we weigh, but there's 5 types. So tell us a little bit about how that works. Like, how would we know which one we are?
Well, it's all about, it's relative. We're talking proportionally. And so the measurements that you take are your shoulders, bust, waist, and hips, and you're just calculating the proportions.
Okay.
So as you said, size has no bearing. It's all about proportion. And I can share with you the proportions and defining characteristics for each body shape. And I did bring some picture examples because I am so visual, and this is so much easier to understand when you see a picture.
Love it. Okay. Yeah. So you're going to share your screen. Yeah.
Yes. So let's start with pear-shaped women. I happen to have a pear shape. And as a pear-shaped woman, let me show you. I use celebrity pictures because I can only be one body shape myself, right? And there's a lot of variety out there.
Okay.
So,
can you guys see that photo? Let us know. Can you see the photo that she just put up on the screen? Hopefully that's going to cooperate with us.
Yeah. Hopefully I highlighted the right thing. You're
yeah.
not seeing my desktop.
Yeah. Okay. I think we are good. Go ahead.
Great. So as a pear-shaped woman, you're defining proportion is that your shoulders are narrower proportionally than your hips.
Okay.
Your hip measurement is also usually larger than your bust measurement, but that is not always the case. It's the shoulder to hip proportion that is the most important. This can be subtle or more dramatic. More slender women may notice a smaller distinction, but not always. Your waist is usually narrower than your hips, but that can change with weight gain, with age, having children, and other possible characteristics is you're blessed with curvy, shapely hips, thighs, and bottom, and you may have shapely calves as well. Your bust can vary from very small to very full. So the image on the left is Alexis Bledsoe, and she's your typical pear. She's got the very narrow shoulders, the small bust, the small waist, and then the full hips, seat, and thighs. And then on the right, you have Kim Kardashian, and she is a busty pear. And online, she's often identified as an hourglass, but she's not, because her shoulders are narrower than her hips.
Isn't that interesting? So yeah, I would have totally thought she was an hourglass, but you're saying because her shoulders are narrower, so she's actually
narrow, proportionally narrower than her hips. And so she is also a pear. And pears tend to wear a smaller clothing size up top and a larger size on bottom, or at least they should, to get a proper fit. Some of them try to fit into the same size top and bottom. That's really not, it means something's not fitting right. And for many pear-shaped women, their primary complaint is that they have proportionally larger bottom, hips, and thighs, but those are really their best assets.
Okay. So I'm a pear. Like we already talked about this yesterday. You and I chatted. So what are some things that I should keep in mind? Like I think you said you have some do's and don'ts for us. And are you guys, who's a pear? Who else is a pear in the audience? Let us know. Drop a Drop a little pear emoji, charm from the pear emoji. It was so fun. What should we be on the lookout for besides, I guess, like not necessarily assuming that we're the same size on the top as the bottom?
You're not. If you're a pear, you do not wear
You're
the
totally
size
not.
size, or you shouldn't be. So
Mhm.
today, what I was going to share with you is the number one mistake each body shape makes when wearing tops.
Okay.
So pears, the top mistake that pears make is they mistakenly believe that their hips, thighs, and seat need to be covered, when really those glorious curves are some of their best assets.
Okay.
Covering your curves, your bottom in a long, oversized shirt does not hide them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to share with you another image so you can see what I'm talking about.
Okay.
And I want to preface this by saying that the images I'm sharing, none of this is about shaming anyone, or we're not saying anything negative about any of these beautiful women. It's the easiest way for me to find examples to share so that I can demonstrate to you. If I could transform my body and take pictures of myself for each one of these, I would, but I can only be a pair. So they're all beautiful women. So, if you think about it, women will buy swimsuits with ruffles to enhance their bust. So why would you put ruffles to hide your hips? It doesn't work. And wearing a long, oversized top does not hide your hips or your bottom. And that is a mistake. So if in this example, we have Jennifer Love Hewitt, and she, in the first picture, is wearing a long, oversized top, and it draws the eye immediately to her hips. And so instead of looking at her as a whole person and seeing her face, our eye is drawn to that bullseye, and it actually makes her look bigger than she is. Where in the second image, she's wearing a top that skims but doesn't squeeze her shape. And it's shorter in the right, where it should land. And we can see it enhances her shape. She looks beautiful. We see her as a whole person, and we're not just staring at one part of her.
Yeah. So I can see how, like, you'd be so tempted, like, if you think, oh my gosh, my hips are wider than they would like them to be. So I'm going to like wear something kind of baggy, a little bit loose, but it's actually doing the opposite of what I would want it to do.
Yes. Right? Yes. It's the total opposite of what you want it to do.
Oh my gosh.
Covering things up does not hide them.
doesn't hide something. Yeah.
And we don't need to hide it. We just want to redirect the spotlight. And that's the focus of what I teach, is how to direct the spotlight. It's like a stage production, right? And they use the spotlight to direct our attention, whether they want us to focus on the main action, they want to distract us from a set change over here. They use the spotlight, and we can do the same thing with our outfits with tips and tricks to redirect the spotlight. And right now, that first picture, the spotlight is aimed right at her hips. And
yeah. And not in a good way, right?
No.
Like not like she doesn't, you don't go, wow, she looks amazing. And she looks so good on the right.
Yeah. Because you see all of her.
Yeah. Yeah. So Lindy is saying, I've done that my whole life and the tops never fit in the shoulder area. So like, is that just a question of finding the right top? Like,
well, when you wear a long oversized top like that and you're a pear-shaped woman, you have to buy a top that will fit your hips, which means it'll be too big for your shoulders. And tunics are just hands down the worst possible top you could choose for a pair, because you can't get the fit right in both of those. Sorry, my camera slipped back just a little bit and took a little nosedive while we were talking. So you can't fit both that way. And so it's really, it won't fit your shoulders if it fits your hips. And that's why pairs need to have two different sizes, top and bottom.
Okay. Now we're going to get to the other two more, but I want to just give you all a shout out. April has a couple different resources for you, and one of them. Do you want to tell us real quick about those, and then we'll get to the next body type?
Sure. I have a free masterclass called "It's Not You, It's the Pants: 4 Tips to Help You Buy the Perfect Pants So You Never Have a Muffin Top Again."
I love it. I need to watch that one.
Well, if you look through what we're being advertised, we are inundated with ads about how to diet and lose weight and this, that, and, to get rid of our muffin top, but it's your pants that are giving you a muffin.
It's not you, it's the pants. It's such
Not
good
you, it's
news.
the pants. There's nothing wrong with you. You just need the right pants. And so today I'm giving you some tips for tops. But if you check out my masterclass, you can get tips to buy pants that will not squeeze you.
Love it.
Places.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Okay, great. Okay, so what's the next body type?
So I'm covering the 3 most common body shapes. And the next one we're going to talk about is the rectangle body shape. And I'll show you an example of that.
Do we have anyone here who thinks they're a rectangle? It's definitely not me.
So this is Queen Latifah on the left and Cameron Diaz on the right. And the defining characteristic or proportions of a rectangle body shape is that the waist, hip, and shoulder measurements are very, very close, especially the hips and shoulders. And the hips and shoulders are the same measurement. And they have a straight shoulder line and straight through here. They can have a little more of a defined waistline or be super straight. Like you can see Cameron Diaz here. She is straight. But they can have more definition to their waist. They tend to look very naturally athletic and have a healthy look. It's the easiest shape to shop for off the rack because their proportions are so balanced. And most clothes that are off the rack are made to fit straight body shapes because they're the least expensive to produce. The more curve and tailoring involved in an item, the more expensive it is to produce.
It's a little harder because you can't just sew a straight line.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes so much sense. Okay. So you can be a rectangle no matter what weight you are. It's not about weight. It's about proportion again.
Right. Well, and rectangles tend to gain weight proportionally and evenly. So a pair, the first place we gain is our hips, and we can gain 2 sizes in our pants and not go up at all in our tops sometimes, right? But a rectangle will proportionally gain weight all over. Their bottoms tend to be flatter, and their bust can be anything from very small to very full. Cameron Diaz has a smaller bust. Queen Latifah has a fuller bust. And they wear the same size top and bottom, or they should be. Got it. They should be if they're wearing the right size clothes.
If they're wearing the right size clothes. Okay, great. And we have a lot of people chiming in saying, I think I'm on a rectangle. Fantastic. We've got some rectangles in the house. Love it. All right.
And then the number one, and I'll show you a picture for this one about the number one mistake that rectangles make when wearing tops. And we're going to use Cameron Diaz again as our example. Because the rectangle body shapes are so enviably easy to dress off the rack, it's tempting to wear body skimming clothes from head to toe. They tend, like I said, they tend to have that naturally athletic look. And if they love that look, then great, do it. But if they want to create a curvier silhouette, then they need to add some volume above the waist. And so instead of having a top that skims all the way down, like she does on the left-hand picture, you can see how straight she is here. On the right side, her blouse, it comes in at the waist, but there's room here through the ribs,
Mhm.
and that gives the illusion of
Mm.
curves.
Yeah, she looks so much more like it's just more interesting. I think
Yeah.
like that belt is defining her waist. She's adding a little bit in the shoulders.
Yeah. Yeah. So she looks much curvier than she does in the first one. And it's all, and her top still fits her in the shoulder. Well, it would if she buttoned her shirt. It would fit her in the shoulders, right? Obviously, this is a campaign ad, and she did not walk down the street like this, but she has that room here. The rest of the blouse fits her, and she's defined her waist, and now she just looks curvier.
Oh my gosh, I had no idea. This is so interesting, isn't it? Like just
It is.
like this is a little change, and like both of those things fit her.
Mhm.
But and obviously they're very different in style. It's not like, but at the same time, like it's the one is such a much more attractive look because of those things that you called out.
Yeah, it's just much more flattering.
Yeah. Cool. Okay.
The third body shape we were going to talk about is the inverted triangle body shape. And let's look at a couple of those.
Who's a triangle? Any triangles out there right now?
So this is Angelina Jolie on the left is a busty inverted triangle, and Jennifer Garner on the right is not as busty. So as an inverted triangle shaped woman, your defining proportion is that your shoulders are wider than your hips and waist. And so their body shape does this. And the bustiness can really confuse people. And so looking from the back where there's no bust to confuse the eye, it's really obvious. You can see this inverted triangle shape. And or a V shape, if you want to call it that. They have their waist is not typically well defined, and they have a very strong shoulder line that creates a V shape with your body. And again, they can have a very small bust or a very full bust. And sometimes it's more subtle, sometimes it's more dramatic. They tend to their strong shoulder line provides excellent structure for tops. And their legs and arms tend to be, they tend to have a very naturally muscular frame. Like you'll be like, oh my gosh, what kind of workout do you do? And they're like, the remote control, I lift it up and down. And you're like, but a lot of them, they just naturally have a very muscular, sometimes they'll have very muscular thighs. They just look really athletic. They tend to have a flatter bottom, but again, sometimes it can be curvier. And when shopping for clothes, they should be wearing a larger size up top and a smaller size on bottom. And the mistake that most inverted triangles make, and let me show you this. Is they wear their tops tight all the way down. And this is Wendy Williams. She's a busty inverted triangle. And because their big shopping challenge is finding tops that fit their shoulders and their proportionally narrower waistline. And so when they get the shoulder fit right, they're just swimming down here. And so they tend to stick to the versatile knit tops and tees because they'll stretch with their shoulders and still, come in at their waist. But when they wear those really tight fitting tops, it highlights the dramatic taper from torso to hips, and it allows their shoulders to steal the spotlight. So definitely take advantage of the comfort and ease of knits, but choose tops that just don't, we don't want saran wrap. Give a little more volume through the ribs and accentuate the waist. And so in this first example, Wendy Williams, she dresses up for her job every day, right? So it was hard to find her with
Right.
so we went with the dress, but you can see it's body skimming all the way down, and you can it accentuates the proportional difference in her body. And in this second picture, it's a knit, it's a sweater knit, a cardigan, and it fits her at the shoulders, but it's not skin tight through her ribs. And it balances her hips and her shoulders more. And, they're tempted, especially if they have a narrow waist and that athletic midsection, they're tempted to show off that great feature of their bodies, but it really just accentuates the shoulders instead.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, I can see how that works. So that you're saying the one on the right with the sweater, that's less than ideal.
No, that's the good one.
Oh, that's the good one. Okay, because it's more balanced.
With the dress, you can see how dramatic her shoulder and hip proportional difference. She's kind of rotated in this picture, and so she's doing a photography trick. She's got this shoulder back and the same hip forward, so she's kind of disguising it. But in the second one, it's just a softer, more gradual taper from shoulders to hips. It would be more ideal if she had tucked that top in and kind of let it blouse out. Like if it came in better at the waist and kind of bloused out here, that would have been more ideal. But I wanted to show a variety of sizes, weights, bust sizes for the different body shapes, and not just pick the supermodel sized ones for everyone. And so I could have used a Mal Clooney. She's another inverted right triangle, but like I said, I just wanted to show as many variations as possible.
So you're saying the idea is really to try and be balanced. And so like her shoulders are quite big, and especially if she was straight onto the camera, they would look even wider. And so it looks a little bit off balance. Whereas in the second one, the pink one, she looks more balanced.
Well, and it's not that her shoulders are big, they're proportionally bigger than her hips.
Right. Okay. Got it.
And so that proportion, it's kind of like when you have like a 3-year-old, like a toddler, and you're like, oh my gosh, you are just my tiny little toddler. And then you have a baby and you're like, you're a giant is what you are. You're the giantest 3 or 4. I mean, like how did I let you, because compared to the newborn, suddenly your teeny tiny toddler looks like
because you're comparing.
This is Jack, and you're the monster from the top of the beanstalk, right? Like, how did you grow overnight? But it's just the proportional difference now that you have something to compare it to. So nobody's body, anything is too big. It's just the proportional difference in the different body parts makes them look, the proportional difference between my hips and my shoulders makes my hips appear larger because my shoulders are smaller.
Got it. That makes so much sense. Okay. All right. We have a few questions. And by the way, y'all make sure you get the masterclass, right? If you want more information, we had a couple questions about, what if you're an apple shape? We don't want to go into all of the body types. April has so much more information for you all. So check out the links that I'm sharing in the comments.
And in the masterclass, I cover all the body shapes.
Right. Okay, cool. Deborah says, this is fun. This is fun, isn't it? I love it. I love the idea. Can we just have a moment? I love the idea that like all of our bodies are beautiful, and it's really a question of finding something that fits and feels good. I mean, you've said this a couple of times, like it's not the pants, right? There's nothing wrong with your body. It's actually the clothes.
Yes.
So you pick different clothes and it changes everything.
Yeah. Clothes that were made to fit your body shape. And when you try to put on clothes that were never intended to fit the shape of your body, you're going to feel terrible. And it's going to look awful because it wasn't made to fit you. And then you beat yourself up because they don't tell you that.
Right.
Like there's something wrong with me because it doesn't look, she looks great in it. Well, she had a different body shape, the one that was intended to fit in those clothes.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Ah, so good. Lee is asking if you are short and wide, so 5'2", size 20, how can I tell what shape I am? And do these rules change because of my weight? So no,
That's a great question. There's only one body shape that changes based on weight fluctuations.
Okay.
And that's apple. When they're at their slimmest, they are an inverted triangle. But if they gain weight at all, it goes straight to their midsection.
Okay.
So that's
Interesting.
the only one that can change. Every other body shape, you are that body shape. You were born with that. It has to do with your bone structure and where your body deposits fat, and that's genetic. You cannot change it. It can become more or less dramatic in the proportions with weight gain or weight loss, but it doesn't change. And so being a size 20, unless you're an apple, you're still the same body shape. You can reach a point with weight gain that you start to take on additional characteristics of, for example, more if you're a pear, and you can develop a full midsection with enough weight gain, but you're still
a pear.
have your shoulders are still going to be proportionally narrower than your hips.
Got it. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. But I guess the whole measuring process, and you have instructions in your course on how to measure, right?
Yeah, very detailed instructions. And if you, because it's course 1 and course 2, if you purchase the bundle of both courses, you get a free body shape analysis by me, which is normally $100.
Oh, fantastic.
If you buy course 1 and want that. But there's detailed instructions of how to take the measurements and how to figure out which body shape.
Okay, great. So tell us a little bit about the course, because I love the idea that you have with course 1 and course 2, right? To actually dress for your body shape, right? So tell us how that all works.
So each body shape is a separate course. So you're only learning about your body shape and not getting it all muddled and confused with all the other body shapes. I need it that way. So that's why I constructed it that way. To me, it's confusing when they're all mixed up together. And once you you go through the first 2 modules, learn all about the body shapes, figure out which one you are, choose your body shape. Then the lessons are specifically tailored to your body shape only. And there is always a definition lesson where I explain what each of the things is. Like when you go into the tops module, we talk about all the necklines. This is what this neckline looks like. This is what it does. This is what these sleeves look like. This is what they're called. Here's pictures. There's tons and tons and tons of pictures, so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. And then in the next lesson, we talk about how they apply to your body shape. And I tell you exactly which ones are your best choices and exactly which ones are not your best choices. And then in the first course, we cover tops, bottoms, undergarments, body shapes. Sorry, I haven't thought about this in a while. Basically, you can get dressed. With course 1, you can put together a complete outfit. And that was important to me. I wanted you to feel like you could put together. And then course 2, we just dive a lot deeper. We talk about your vertical body shape, having a short torso or a long torso, where the placement of your waist is. We talk about dressing in the rule of thirds and proportions that way. We covered dresses, layers, accessories. And then the big thing that when my audience, my community kept asking me for a body shape course. And I was like, you guys, there's like 5 gazillion body shape courses out there. Why would I make another one? But I couldn't actually recommend any that I could say I liked, or I felt like they were positive or encouraging or gave exactly what I would want as a consumer. Also, they're super rigid, and I love rules. I love rules.
You love rules. Yeah.
I do, but I love to break the rules as well.
Okay.
Like, once I know all the rules, now I'm going to break them.
Mm-hmm.
I make a recipe exactly the way it's written the first time. And then after that, I change everything about it. Right. But I just want to know how it was supposed to be originally. And then I'm going to just. So at the very last module of course 2, once you have learned all the rules, I teach you how to break them. Because there are things you're going to want to wear that technically are, because that was me. But I still want to wear white pants. And that's like the number one rule for a pair. No white pants. But I love
interesting.
So how do I wear white pants?
Okay.
No, you can't. But I'm going to. So just tell me how to do it. No, you can't do it.
That's awesome. I love it. So learn the rules so that we can break them.
Yeah. And so I talk about them as tools in a tool belt. This isn't to restrict you or to, it's to help you understand all the options available to you. It's a menu. You can choose which ones you want to use, pick the tools you want to use. You can leave the others in the belt, and it can change from day to day, which rules you follow and which ones you break. So I just wanted them to fully understand first how the rules affect their body shape, practice that, see it. And then at the end, they can decide which rules they want to break. And here's how to do it and still look your best.
Oh, I love that. Oh, that's so good, isn't it? Let's see. We got a question. Judy's asking, do you get into colors?
We don't. So that we don't get into color analysis as in what color palette looks best on you.
On you
That's
personally.
A totally other topic. But we do talk about how powerful a tool color is in dressing for your body shape. It's a very powerful tool. So we do cover color in that respect.
Okay. Like you just said, white pants, they're going to make your hips look bigger. And if you're trying to balance,
it's not that they make your hips look bigger. It's that the lightest, brightest colors draw the eye, and they also make things advance and seem closer. Darker colors recede visually, and so that makes them appear smaller, and our eye is always going to be drawn to the lightest color first. And so when I wear white pants, not only is the eye drawn straight to it, it also visually makes my hips advance, which visually makes my hips look closer and therefore larger than
got it
proportionally to what I'm wearing up.
Right. And you're wanting more of a balance. So that's why. Okay. That makes perfect sense. Oh, we have so many comments here. Love this. This is so good. Marion says, I like this. So good. One quick question from BB. She says, what do you recommend for short waist and thick in that area? That might be what? It could be a rectangle, or it could be an apple, I suppose, right? Short waist and thick in that area, she said.
Well, that can be.
Depends on the shoulders.
That can be so that's something we cover in depth in course 2 with the vertical body shape. So I have a pear body shape, and typically pears have a defined waist, right? But if you have a short torso, like I do, I don't really have a waist because I'm so short in the torso. There's less than an inch between my hip bone and my rib bone. So my torso is basically all bone. You can't whittle bone. If you have more of a gap and you can tighten those muscles, you've got that soft tissue that can come in. I don't have that. And so there's nowhere for my waist to come in, no matter how many crunches I do, right? So that can have to do with your torso length. It can be your body shape. I mean, it could be because you're a rectangle, an inverted triangle, an apple, or a pear with a short torso. Or the other ones, you can still have a long torso and you're still just straight because that's how you're made. So that could be, there are a lot of reasons that could be.
It depends. Yeah. So this is actually very technical, which is kind of nice because I think we sort of think that fashion is just all creative and this and that, but you're saying like, we're going to take some measurements and then we know which type we are. And then we can use these rules, which we are free to break. And then we can dress. But I love that there's measurements and it's kind of cut and dried, at least at the at the base, it's not basic at all, because I keep asking questions and I'm like,
no,
wait,
it is though. You're
So-
right. It's like, there's no, like, it's pretty concrete at the basis of
right,
it.
right.
But there is fluidity in
Mhm.
it. You can manipulate it based on how you use these various tools, right?
Nice. Awesome. Okay. So we have some more questions. You guys should go and check out the masterclass, and also check out the course. If you want to get into the details and you have specifics about your body shape, or, which one am I, just go and then you can do the measurements and you can figure it out specifically for yourself. And you definitely want to check that out. I'm going to drop that one more time. There's
and if
two
they
options.
buy the bundle, I will tell them their body shape. They don't have to
even
guess.
better.
Most women are wrong about what body shape they have. They think they're one thing because someone said so, or because it's what they want to be, and they're often wrong.
Oh, that's so good. Right. Oh, you told me that. What is it that everyone thinks they are? And they're
most women think they're an hourglass, and almost no women are. It's the rarest body shape. They are very few and far between, but like most women think that if they have a large bust that they're an hourglass.
Because they may like, well, I'm curvy, so clearly that's hourglass, but not necessarily.
There's so much more to it than that.
So much more to it. Yeah. So good. So good. Okay. Thank you so much for being here, April. This was amazing. I can't wait to get dressed. I'm going to go through the course. I do love shopping. Well, I have a love-hate relationship. I think I'll love shopping more after I learn some of these rules and like figure out how to apply them to me. So thank you for being here. I know everyone has enjoyed it. Just really great talking to you.
Well, one of my students, she came back and said, after taking the pants module, I walked into a store. I knew exactly what I was looking for. I found the jeans I needed, and I was out in 10 minutes.
There you go.
She's like, I want that. She knew from after doing the homework, she wanted this, and this. Tell me what jeans meet that criteria. She tried them on. They were perfect. She purchased them, and
such a time saver, and money too, right? I mean, we're going to be talking about money in the membership next month, but like, how much money do we waste buying clothes that do not feel good, or they look cute on the, but they're just not. It's just, it's such a waste. So I love that you're helping us get dressed.
Yes,
this is important. This is very important. So thank you so much. This is really, really wonderful work. I appreciate your message so much.
Thank you.
So good. All right. Take care, everyone. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.